Real quick, Al. Speaking of pictures, I got one more. What were they thinking?
Oh,
So if you're in the chat, I
Put it
need
out
y'all to
there.
pay attention to this and send this to them once you guys see it. So take a look at this. This was around 1992, 93, and the Gorgeous Hunk contest. What were they thinking?
and that Bill back down.
That's
We have Phil Bird.
That's Mike Red. Mike Red and DJ
Jinx, Rochelle,
and Rochelle.
Mike Jinx. Oh, Phil and they're looking like Erica back there.
Yeah,
Man, Bill.
The thoughts and opinions on this show does not represent the opinion of our employers or organizations. These are the opinions of the individual host. Sit back, relax, and let's chop it up at the corner store. The thoughts.
Hey, welcome back to the Corner Store, Season 2. Happy New Year to everyone out there. It's 2020, 25. Feels like it's 2020, 2020, 25 with all the action we have going on. Hopefully everyone is having a blessed and highly favored New Year. We are back at the Corner Store where the guys from Glenville, Georgia are letting you in on our group chats and discussions again this year. So welcome to the stage, Slick King.
What up? What up?
Micah King.
What's
and the Teacher of the Year, Edmund Richardson. We're going to make you Teacher of the Year again this year, bro, until we get you up out of there. Then it's going to be Professor of the Century. What's happening, man? We were kind of backstage in the green room chopping it up, and it's gotten heated already. Before we get started, if you're tuning in, go ahead and hit the like button and hit the share. Share this with your friends. I know some of you may be getting in from Bible study, but you can listen to us until you fall asleep. Hopefully we can say something that's informative, entertaining, and make you laugh just a little bit. So let's get it started, fellas. Paper and politics, man. There's a lot going on in this new year with the new administration and new president. Edmund, Micah, how are we going to survive it, bro? We're not even 2 weeks into it. So what do y'all say, bro? What do you got for the people that can inspire them to keep going?
Go ahead, Eb.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you take this first, man.
Hey, I'm gonna start, man. I'm gonna
Go
tell
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
So don't. I want the people to understand, man, and this is where education come in at. And Edmund, you probably can simplify it better than me, but executive orders are not laws. All right. He can only affect the executive branch. All right. So things that he can control. So all that, Trump is going to change child support. Trump is going to do this. Trump changing transgender. That only affects the executive area, military stuff that he can control. You know what I'm saying? So if your boss over at Burger King comes in there and say, we no longer using he or she, he wanted to do that anyway. He just using that executive order as an excuse. So educate yourself before you go out there and panic. Learn what it really affects you and what doesn't.
Well, just to come behind Roderick, I will slightly disagree with executive orders. As someone who teaches this on a daily basis, executive orders are clarification of laws. When Congress passes laws, it gives the executive branch the ability to interpret laws that are passed by Congress. And so what happens is Congress, the president has the latitude to go in and use it to kind of clarify things or use existing law. So, prime example, Joe Biden used an existing law to forgive student debt after the Supreme Court struck down his original plan to forgive student loans, but he found where the law that was passed by Congress years ago gave latitude for the president to step in and forgive, student loans and things of that nature. Now, presidents can overstep their bounds by, using executive order powers to do things like what Trump did this week, which I knew would be struck down because, only Congress controls the purse strings. And so once a law is passed and implemented and signed by the president and is implemented, the president can't just say, I'm going to freeze the spending. That is a violation of law, because when he was sworn into office, he swore to uphold the laws, execute the laws that are on the books. And so he was in violation of this. But this is all a strategy. If you understand and you've been watching President Trump and his imps, Steve Bannon, a lot of this stuff is, we're going to throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, and also divert your attention from what we're really trying to do. And people fall into the trap of thinking that this man has more power than he really has. Now, what scares me is that there's nothing really to hold him accountable, because there's a existing order within the Department of Justice that says that a sitting president cannot be charged with a crime while serving as president. The remedy to that is impeachment. We know impeachment is not going to happen under these Republicans. You need 67 senators and a majority of the members of the House and 67 senators to actually impeach and remove the president from office. Under old circumstances, before he even won, re-election, you couldn't get but one or two senators that voted to remove him from office. And one was Mitt Romney. He's no longer in Congress. These folks are going to kowtow to him. And so what scares me is that he's willing to break the law, like Andrew Jackson, his mentor, who basically disobeyed the Supreme Court, and how we ended up with the Trail of Tears, if you remember that in your history books. And that's what scares me, that these Republicans will not stand up for the rule of law and allow him to run and do what he wants to do within our government. And that's what scares me the most at this time.
And there's no more balance of power anymore. So how Evan said, Andrew Jackson blatantly disobeyed the Supreme Court. Trump doesn't have to disobey the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is going to support whatever he does. So there's really no balance of power either. But to agree with a point he did make about just not panicking, not giving him so much power. A lot of the power that we give the president is implied and too much. And the thing that Donald Trump does is, like you said, he does a lot of stuff, causes a lot of chaos and distraction, and his flunkies are behind the scenes really messing stuff up. And that's not being covered in the news and in the national media. We'll see pictures of Trump. We'll see him behind the desk signing papers. But he's just the smoke in the mirrors, and the real mess is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And Project 25 is real, y'all. And so these folks study government. All this stuff that he denied that, I don't know what Project 25 is. Every executive order that's still legitimate has to do with Project 25. And these people have been intent. Let me tell you the strategy behind all of this. These people have had a 50 to 60 year strategy to overturn the 1900s. And we all know as Black people what happened in the 1900s. We had Brown versus Board of Education, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, in the late 60s, the Fair Housing Act. All of those things, and affirmative action, all of those things. And affirmative action actually was implemented under Republican President Richard Nixon. These folks are intent on overturning the 1900s and taking us back. So that's the reason why Making America Great Again was a great slogan for Reagan and a great slogan for Trump. And that's what I'm seeing take place. And another thing I want to bring up while we're in this paper and politics segment, everybody, let me tell y'all something. Be prepared. when they say they want to release all the FBI records on Dr. King, that's not no generous thing. The government isn't going to indict itself to say that we were complicit in probably, trying to kill Dr. King. And so what this is going to do, the same FBI they don't trust that investigated Trump and said he's a criminal is the same FBI they're going to use to taint the legacy of Dr. King so they can overturn holidays. They can say he was an immoral leader. He had affairs on his wife. They're going to release these doctorate tapes that they even used and sent to his wife when, he was alive, trying to get her to leave him and break up their family. So we're going to believe all of these tapes that were gathered during CONTELPRO. And so I'm very leery when they say we're going to release these records. No, it's an intent behind releasing those records to say this man isn't worthy. I mean, we see attack on DEI. You even see the federal government now issued orders that we can't even celebrate. The federal government will no longer celebrate Black History Month or Hispanic History Month. I mean, we see the handwriting on the wall, y'all. Y'all got to educate yourself.
Yeah, and the FBI back then was ran by a blatant racist. They were
blatant racist, J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. So it's definitely not going to be in his favor. And the way they did it was they started at the local level too. So the plan wasn't just at the top down. It was, let's take these city and county seats. Let's take these state seats. Let's gerrymander and redraw all these lines so we can basically hold on to power. And once we get it, we can't lose it. So now you look at places in Georgia where it's almost impossible to beat a Republican incumbent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but we got to stay in tune. I know a lot of people want to tune out politics, but politics impacts every facet of our lives, no matter if it's from your homeowner's insurance to your mortgages to gas to taxes. So we got to stay in tune, because if you don't pay attention to politics, those who are running politics won't pay attention to you, and then we embolden them to do what they're going to do. And Slick, I know you had some strong opinions and kind of the opposite of what me, Edmund, and Micah, or me and Edmund.
Yeah, we failed that test. We failed that test, and now it's now time to get your grade. So all that we talked about, all that rights, all the civil rights, everybody knows what was at stake. People chose prosperity over that. You get what I'm saying? They chose that. They chose to make a little bit extra dollar, get an extra check, and they chose that. Now it's time to pay the piper. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I agree. I agree with you, Slick. But how do we pivot? How do we adjust?
I just talked to you earlier about pivoting, and you talking about AOC. That is not a pivot. You know what I'm saying? That's a state of same.
No, I'm not saying from a political standpoint, but from a livelihood standpoint. How do we navigate through all of this? How do we stay encouraged? How do we continue to do what we need to do to take care of our household first, our community next?
We do what we've been doing for 400 years. Black people are resilient. We've done this. We've been here. Now, some of these other minorities, they're going to have some issues. Now, what we're going to have to do is close ranks. And I hate to say it and be like that, but we have to take care and hold ourselves accountable first. You know what I'm saying? Before we start over there stomping for this purpose, stomping for that purpose, and we don't get no benefits back. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with Roger. People are going to now see Black folk, to be quite honest, we've been out here fighting on the front lines for civil rights that everybody benefited from. The biggest beneficiary of the civil rights movement were not Black people. They were white women, white middle-class women. There are more white women holding DEI positions than anybody else in the country. And see, this is the lie that they have told us to make us believe that DEI, they give us crumbs and think they're giving us the whole world. And so, like Roger said, I totally agree. My thing is, I hate to sound like this, but we knew the stakes before this election. People chose money and a stimulus check for some that, don't want to work anyway, chose a stimulus check over, the rights and the greater good of this country. And so oftentimes, sometimes we need things like this to happen to wake us up, because especially black people, we forgot what Coretta Scott King says. Freedom is won in every generation. We can't give up. But what the other side does, they play long ball. We play, oh, if we haven't benefited in the last 4 years, and we take our ball and go home, and that's not the way things work. And sometimes, we're gonna have to pay the price and see what it's like when you don't participate in the political process. See, I was always taught, when you don't do politics, politics will do you, one way or the other.
Hey, one thing I look at the people that represented us in the past, let's say, years. We've had rappers. One rapper that's got more credit than anybody I know. What his name? Murder Mike Murder, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Got
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike.
You know what I'm saying? He was a spokesperson. What's the damn Charlemagne the God?
Yes.
Spokesperson.
Well, let's go back to Killer Mike
Rick.
before you go. Is he doing anything that's tangible, not just rhetoric? Can you point to something he's doing?
Well, he said
no. What I'm telling you is we are the only minority group that have people like that represent us, that are speaking, that's got more credibility than President Obama, that's got more more credibility than some of the people that's been in government for the last 30, 40 years. So what is wrong with us that these people, are getting more spotlight, getting more influence?
It's a lack.
Well, you just hit it.
It's a lack of civic engagement, and it's a lack of those core values we had in our community, where these social media influencers and rappers and sports figures are now the spokespeople for our community, which is sad because they don't know much. Let's just be honest about it. They don't know about this stuff. And you get out here and you say incendiary things that if you can't back it up, and you take our people further back, because a lot of these people, look at Ice Cube and all these folks that have a major platform, get out here and say crazy things, and you see them during the election season, but where are they now? When Trump doing all these bad things, you don't hear any of these stars right now as vocal as they were back then. And that's the problem I have, where I feel like they're more concerned about themselves than the greater good of the community. Yeah, you're a millionaire. Yeah, you got all this money. But how is that going to impact the little guy, the least of these? And that's the problem that pains me from yesterday, because who was hurt when they shut down those levers, when they couldn't pay people's Medicare bill or couldn't finance grandma Meals on Wheels and things like that? See, that's the type of stuff that irks me when we give these people these big platforms.
Yeah, and I hear it and I see it as well, and I agree. But you touched on it, Roger. You said influence. Everything is influence. When you look at a commercial and they use celebrity, they use that to influence to buy that product. They do it on the other side, but they don't put them on the forefront. Mel Gibson, his champion for the other side.
I disagree with you. I think influence.
But the new influencer is different. Our side sees entertainer. Their side sees podcasters, influencers.
If that's was the
what
case,
got them over the hump.
If that was the case, what's the girl that's dating the chief, Kansas City Chief? Once she came online, everybody said, "Oh, we won the election."
No, but I don't think it's that. I think it was more people.
What's her name? The pop
Taylor Swift. But
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
all the
I think it came down to more people being
the beehive. That shit is inflated. You get what I'm saying?
Well, we can't really say that when more people sat out than really voted. Like Trump didn't get more votes than 2020.
Right, he didn't. And see, that's the thing issue I have. See, these folks are so smart. They know they're not going to get black votes. So what do? They put out all this propaganda. Kamala's not black. Kamala's not one of you. So they put out all this propaganda. And so these low information voters, people don't pay attention to politics, begin to believe this stuff, because guess what? Most Americans that get their news from social media, all this propaganda that people put out, people begin to believe. You would not believe how many people I had to convince that she did not do some of the things that they accused her of doing, but because social media is so powerful, these people, it's hard to convince people. And you can give them the facts, show them the numbers, and they still believe that lie that was fed to them. Even D.L. Hughley had to come out and say, I had to apologize because I believe the narrative that was out there about you for so long. And that's the problem. They know they're not going to win black voters. They know that they can influence low information voters to not
That's
vote.
why I said. That's why I said with them using the influencers on their side, like Joe Rogan, Pat Bet David, all of those, they have a huge audience. We don't hear about it because we don't pay them attention, but they do, and they can spit out any propaganda and they'll believe it on their side. It's just this time a lot of people just sat out, didn't vote.
And I agree with Raphael Lewis. You know what happened to the church? I believe the church has lost its prophetic voice. You know, regardless of, you know, what you believe or think about the church was always on the forefront in these types of things. And you know, one of the things that I think should happen now, there should be a summit of church pastors on where do we go. To go back to what Roderick asked, where do we go from here? I feel like we need to start strategizing and think beyond just what for Trump 4 years. Where do we go as a community? You know, what is our vision as we move forward? How do we build business and rap? So, like right now, everybody's talking about DEI, and all these companies getting rid of DEI. Well, let's not be like the people of old, protest and go home and that's it. This can, you know, a great business in our community can come out of this. Well, we support businesses within our community. We form a network where we don't have to rely on these people for stuff. But see, we always think we got to go to white people to get things or to get their validation. When these folks, we see where these people are right now, they're gonna be all right for the most part. We're the one gonna take the biggest hit in this type of environment. So being strategic.
I see a couple problems that we have, and first and foremost, and let's be real, the pastor is no longer the leader of the black community. All right, he does not have the respect no more like they normally that they used to. Kids don't go to church. Families don't go to church no more. Some of it is the church's problem. Some of it is our problem. You know, I went to a church one time and I wasn't even there 24 hours, and the church told me I need a copy of my my leaving earnings statement. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you know, some of it's their issue, some of ours, but they're no longer there. You know what I'm saying? As the leaders of the black community. Most of them are staying in their own community and taking care of their own people.
I hear
it's
you.
not all churches though, bro.
You
got to get the right church.
There's a place for the church.
All right. So let me ask you this question: Who the pastor of your home church of not First AB but the other one, Methodist Church?
St. James.
Yeah, who's the pastor of St. James?
Who is it, Michael? So I haven't.
No. I'm gonna make a point for a second. Who's the pastor of your home church?
Pastor Rouse, Derek Rouse.
You Rouse at First AB. Go ahead. Your daddy. You know what I'm saying? What I'm telling you is that when I grew up, we knew every pastor of every church. They were always there supporting, moving around, doing different things. I'm not saying that these pastors not doing it. I'm talking about credibility. You get what I'm saying? We got people in there talking about, you know, organized faith. You know, we got people burning sage and rocks now. You know, that stuff has replaced, you know, our foundation.
Right, you're right.
You know, we are justifying, you know, women coming out the house skimpy. We are giving a voice to guys that don't even take care of their kids.
Thank you, Tanya. The pastor of St. James is Douglas Stinson.
I knew
the reason I didn't. I had a caveat. I didn't know because Methodists they changed every 4 years.
Every 2 to 4 years.
I didn't know.
But Roger, I hear you. My only argument is that I still think the church can reclaim a voice in this environment, but we have to get beyond all the things that you mentioned because those things are real. But I think the community is crying out for leaders, and I think there's a space for our preachers and leaders to play because a lot of people still listen to them. They still have influence over thousands of people, you know. And we've gone through times like this where, you know, the church was irrelevant and people weren't attending church. Heck, everybody wasn't with Dr. King during the Civil Rights Movement.
Oh yeah,
And so, you know, it takes things like this to rally us to reclaim our voice within the community. And I think the time is now for us to do that. That's just my opinion.
Oh, I agree. Hey, I agree that the need is there. I'm telling you that even if Pastor Riles or the guy over at St. James, even if he goes out, he's gonna face some resistance. You know, I'm talking about the respect of the office, not the person in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there has to be more action. Like people have to see it more so than just the message they get between the walls. Like, are they
And we
feeding the hungry?
got to get
See
out.
what? See, everything has to go back to what I'm getting out of you.
No, I'm saying, what am I seeing? Not what am I hearing? And are you feeding the hungry? Are you clothing the naked? Are you helping the needy? Like, do they do that? Like, these are the times that
I
it's
know.
needed.
I know at Church of God. I know at Church of God over there with my grandma and them, they do that.
I can tell.
But see, it's going to take all of us to do that. And that's all people waiting on, you know, for people to get outside the four walls of the church and begin to do some of this stuff and to begin to be active in the community and not just wait on, you know, bad times, but to be there consistently. But I think these times are calling for these leaders to come together and strategize. What are we going to do for our community? How are we going to stand up for our community in these times?
You know why? You know our community ain't gonna do it because we keep grabbing people that don't believe, that don't. I go back to, you have to take care of home before you help somebody else. Mm-hmm. Right now, I consider home a certain style or a certain person that kind of resembles myself. We got to start taking care and building the foundation there. You get what I'm saying? Before we start going out there and asking for help or helping other people. And I wasn't never like that. I'm big on diversity. My son's best friend, I hate to sound like that, but my house is diverse. My family is diverse. I got an uncle, you know what I'm saying, been with us 20 years. I never treated him no different than anybody else.
It's been longer than 20 years.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, he been with us, so long. My sister-in-law is from Mexico. Her family's straight up from Mexico. What I'm telling you is,
and I will get deported, are they?
Huh? No, what I'm telling you is that I done got to the point now where we got to take care of our own people, bro. We can sit there and talk all that noise you want to talk, but I told you back in the election when we picked Kamala, we was done. Nope. Shannon told me, no, the numbers say this. The numbers say that. Numbers say this. No, we ready for it. I try to tell y'all, I work with these people. I live with these people. I understand these people because I pay attention to them. I see the racism every day.
But just as many people sat out, though.
Man, we grew up in Glenville, Georgia. So we know how this thing works. But I did think the country was, a little. I would guess I was a little too optimistic. But with Trump, it has shown us that we're not as far as this is who we are as Americans, and we need to come to grips with that. This is who we are. And I think Obama gave us a high, and it even gave them. But see, I was watching a speech by Dr. King. He gave the one we don't see much of, but he talked about it. He said, white people are, we had to force white people to give us, a Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act. We had to force them by them seeing the brutality on television. That was the only reason why they came forward to even support us. But when it came time to really give us something tangible, they always, renege or go back on, giving us full access to the American dream. And so, we're seeing that now. So even with Obama's election, we saw the handwriting on the wall, but we didn't want to believe it. We thought we were better than that because we elected him. But what we saw was white backlash. And that white backlash was the Tea Party, which they couched in economic anxiety, right? So Trump got elected and nothing changed. And then he gave a tax cut. And then we went to the recession. And then we used the kind of, prices are high. You don't hear nobody talking about high gas prices no more, high food. Matter of fact, we in a flu pandemic, the bird flu, and eggs are now like $15. But you don't hear nobody talking about that stuff. See, they always use these things as a proxy to get what they want. See, these folks are cultural. What I've learned in this situation is that these folks will vote against their own self-interest. Dr. King said in that speech when they marched from Selma to Montgomery, he says, white folks are good at feeding poor white people the dogma that you may have it bad, but as long as you don't have it bad, I'm gonna say you don't have it as bad as the black man, and you're better than the black man, and that's our problem. And even Lyndon Johnson said, if he said you can if you give the white man the ability to think that they better than the best Negro, you can pick their pockets any day.
No, he said the poorest white man.
That's the
and culture is what Trump.
That's how they frame the DEI argument, because they're telling these poor white people that Edmund is taking a job that they're not qualified for anyway.
Yeah. And speaking of that, that's a great segue, Mike, because I want people to be educated. Like I have classmates from Savannah State, and I'm like, dang, they should know this. But before we go to that, if you're watching in the chat, let us know where you're watching the show from. If you're enjoying it, or if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we'll opine on those topics. Quick shout outs. Thank you, Champ Raphael Lewis up in DC, Batanya Nesbitt up in Glenville, Georgia, Marjorie Nesbitt, Reverend, my grandma Lily Pearl Taylor is tuned in. Big Mac is tuned in. Rock Dinkins is tuned in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And if you want to come on the show, let me know. I'm going to drop the link in the chat here shortly. So if you have anything you want to come on with, let us know. Marjorie Nesby, she's in here as well. So let's get back to the show. But DEI, the misnomer, it has been misplaced and hijacked by those on the right so many ways. First, it was BLM. They hijacked that. Then it was CRT, then affirmative action, and now DEI. Edmund and Micah, can you let the people know why DEI came about anyway, and what does it stand for?
Why we did it? That's gone. It's over with now.
It's not gone because we have to read the room. Like I look every day, and the topic is still there. The topic is still there.
No, the topic is, man, I'm glad it's gone. That's what this topic is. I don't know what room.
We have a platform to educate people. So if they don't know and they're misusing it, are we not supposed to correct them?
But that program is dead. So it did serve no purpose.
It's not all the way. I mean, it's going to be on life support during this administration, but a Democratic comeback, they're not going to be. I mean, DEI is good for the bottom line, and that's what people need to be honest about. Any company that's diverse, got different of opinion, got different ideas and different perspectives and walks of life, that's good for anybody's bottom line, and they know it. Because if you got group thinking your organization, that's not good for your bottom line. And diversity, equity, and inclusion is not about you giving black people something or you giving them a leg up. It's saying, look, normally we just go to UGA and look for people to work in our company. Now we're going to go to HBCUs and look. We're going to spread a broader net to capture people who are qualified for the job to work in these jobs. Let's be honest. All these folk, they want to keep the good old boy network going, right? See, I looked at something even different in DEI. While y'all over here chasing DEI, he issued that executive order to state that now we will no longer look out and protect African-American businesses from discrimination when it comes to government contracting. See, these boys know. Look at Fort Stewart. How those folks keep money around there and jobs around there is they protect each other and give each other those contracts, cut grass, work on
over and over again.
Things like that. They keep this thing in the loop. One of the things that changed Atlanta, the reason why Atlanta, Georgia is quote unquote the black Mecca was because of Maynard Jackson. When they built that world-class airport out there, Maynard Jackson created a small business program that mandated that all city contracts had to have a certain percentage of minority businesses. That's how you got your H.J. Russells, your Moody's, and others, and black wealth in this community, and all these other government contracts that they took advantage of. It created wealth. Do you know when Maynard Jackson left the mayor's office after serving 8 years, he couldn't get a job nowhere in Atlanta? These white boys locked him out because they were mad because he uprooted the system. And so that's what this thing is all about. These white boys don't want to share any of that money. And they know they have the companies already in the leg up, so they don't even want to train small and minority businesses. We had that same program here in DeKalb County. Vernon Jones, when he became the first black CEO of DeKalb County, now I don't understand. I sent him this. I don't know where he is now, but he created this LSBE program that mandated that so many percentages of minority and women-owned businesses take part in those government contracts. It created a lot of millionaires in the black community. That's what they're trying to hide from you and get us distracted by DEI when they're trying to get that check.
Yeah, that's what the real problem is.
I agree with you. I ain't trying to be negative Nancy on that. What I'm telling you is that they have eliminated that program. All right. They have made companies so scared to be labeled as a DI. Some of these companies are still going to support black companies, but they're not doing it publicly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's my question then. Like, I want to get away from the label of DEI. What is the mechanism to track to close the gap on the disparity then? Because DEI was one mechanism to look at it.
Yeah, but that's we crying about history.
No, I'm not saying about history. I'm saying the current stat. Yeah. Why is the gap so big between us and the counterparts? How do you track that? How do you improve that? How do you change that? How do you correct that?
Remember, I told you back in the day, I think the process is for us to lock our own selves in, like Atlanta did, Detroit, some of these areas that support each other. Report right now in Glenville. All right, Glenville. My grandfather has the oldest black funeral home, probably the first black funeral home in that area.
It's the first and the only.
Yep, and guess what? He does not bury 100% of those people over there. We are on people.
And I have a problem with that. You know, at Glenville, you know, we have that I'm gonna say, I'm trying to watch my words here. We have that crab in the barrel mentality. And see, what I don't like, I know we got brand new Negroes and people making a little money now, and so they're going over here to the white funeral home that don't care about you. But who was burying people when they didn't have insurance? And now you get up on your feet, and then you want to go to another funeral home. Yeah, we know, prices may be a little high, but when you done buried all these people for free or for pennies on the dollar, now you want to get a little money, go over here to the white man funeral home. I don't understand that. I have a problem with that. I do. Regardless of what you think of Mr. Rubin, the King brothers or whatever, I feel that is bad. How can we build wealth in our community if we going over here giving these people who don't care about us money? And I'm pretty sure if you go in there and talk to Randy Lee, they'll give you a discount or help you out through they did it all these years. I've known people they buried, they have no insurance. I'm sorry, that's my soapbox.
Yeah, I love the King family. I look up because Mr. Rubin, when I think about entrepreneurs, he's the first that comes to mind of knowing successful entrepreneurs and having establishment and to help the whole community out, not just his own family, but the entire community. So I have nothing but respect and honor for that. But do we feel the same way when people from Glenville have grown up in that community? He's helped them, but then they go to another community to go to the services of another funeral home, even if they're black. How do you feel about that?
To each his own. There are different issues within the community. People fell out probably with Mr. Rubin over crazy stuff, and so some people went to Harper and Claxton or somewhere like that. But I just have a problem when you go over there across the railroad tracks. That's my problem. And I'm not saying being racist or anything, but I'm saying support businesses in your community that gonna have your back when you are down and out and you need a little help.
Be your own DEI.
Yes.
Let's build our own DEI. You know what I'm saying? Let's throw that hand back. When you're a supervisor and you on that board of reviewing resumes and you doing certain things, and you in a position to hire people that you think that bring diverse. I ain't saying go in there and don't hire a white guy. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm telling you is if you get an opportunity to be able to sit on a position where you can hire, train, mentor, that's how you close that gap, Shannon. I have used my platform ever since I've been in the military. I hired the best people, but I also gave opportunities to people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? I've given them opportunities. I have trained them. I
agree with that. That's the long game. The problem is there's more of them in position.
Exactly.
You can control what you control, man. You can't control what the president thinks.
Make it right. We can control, but does that make it right?
But they don't care.
To force it?
They don't care.
Why aren't there mechanism to force it? Like you say, control what you can control. If you get in position to do that, DEI opened the gate for Black women to be in positions to do that because they are the number one educated group out here and progressing in their career faster than any other demographic group. They would have been in a position to do that.
We have to have laws and things in place. And see, what people don't understand, just take a look at this. We're only 60 years removed from full access in this country, right? After almost 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow.
Hold on, Edmund. I'm gonna do a social experiment. I have some women in the chat real quick. I did this a couple of weeks ago. But if you or your parents went to a segregated high school or elementary school or middle, drop a blue heart in the chat. I want to see if the social experiment still holds the fast. All right, drop a blue heart in the chat if you or your parents went to a segregated high school. All right, Edmund, go ahead.
Oh, it's just the women? You just wanted the Black women?
Oh, anyone, women.
I mean, clarify what you just said.
I said anyone in the chat.
Oh, okay. I just asked.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is for this country and for white people to think that we should be at parity with them after 60 years of neglect and suppression, that we should be here and we don't need any type of programs when the federal government as back as the 50s. See, what people don't talk about, the biggest expansion of the middle class in this country happened after World War II. That was due to the GI Bill. That GI Bill discriminated against Black people who served in the military. That gave them a chance to go to college, gave them a chance to buy a house financed by the federal government. All of these things. I live in a community, close to a community where, they probably built those homes over in that community for like $30,000 or $40,000 or less, probably back during that time. Those houses now worth millions of dollars, right? And so so that allows them to build more wealth, send their kids to college, borrow on their house, send their kids to college, borrow on their house to start a business, so on and so forth. Black people were redlined, marginalized, and weren't given those opportunities. And then, we were in half resource schools and didn't have all the resources up until the 70s. And so you're telling me that there's nothing for the government to do to correct some of these wrongs, especially when they were complicit in implementing some of these rules against the Black community? I find a problem with that. And for you to be hard, and for you to call yourself a Christian to say that is okay, now pull yourself up by your bootstrap, like Dr. King says, it's a cruel gesture to tell a bootless man to pull themselves up by the bootstrap. When you have it was okay for y'all. It's okay when they did it to give free land to white people to settle the West, but release us from slavery and segregation to famine and hunger. That's disingenuous, man. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
We keep trying to plead or try to rationalize plead to this humanity, and they have shown that they don't care. They are not the Christians that they claim to be. They're non-racist that they claim to be. So where do we go from here? We can sit here and cry about it, but we got to start moving on. Our mindset has to change. You know what I'm saying? We have to move on. We've made it without DEI before it became a policy. We've made it with them cheating. My uncle was one of the first Black electricians to get a GS job out there at Fort Stewart. You know what I'm saying? He had to break them doors down. You know what I'm saying? He went out there without DEI. What I'm telling you is, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but
it ain't the end of the world. We
got
to have
anecdotal. How do we raise up as a community? Of course, there's going to be one or two and all that.
There's always some exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you, we got to learn. We got to start learning to quit protecting our job and reach back. You know what I'm saying? When you become a supervisor, when you become all this, yes, when you own your own business, then you can control it. But what I'm telling you is, we tried to force these people. Guess what happened? A lot of people got a memo today. You know what I'm saying?
They better not take it.
How many of y'all were DEI hires?
That would be stupid. That would be stupid for them to take that buyout. That would be so stupid.
I had one of my old troops call me today, and he was so mad. He was so disappointed. he was sitting there talking about, man, I'm not a DEI hire. I didn't do this. And he was going off. You know what I'm saying? He was mad. And I told him, I said, first of all, don't make no decisions while you mad. Second of all, do not take that deal. You get what I'm saying? Don't take that deal. If they're going to fire you or lay you off, let them do it. Leave out on principle. You get what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people don't understand that DEI, it's synonymous right now with black people. That's what it is. And it's not. I was a DEI hire.
To go back,
I was a DEI hire on my first government job. My first government job was DEI hire.
Don't
You
use
were
the terminology they use as DEI.
I
You
was
were
a
a
disability.
qualified hire. You were a
Hey,
qualified hire.
You were qualified for the job just like anybody else. But
I was
Exactly.
qualified. Don't get me wrong. I was qualified.
Okay,
But
so
the
He was
only reason
qualified,
There is no.
he was awarded points because
Hey, first of all, let me explain. I was qualified. I had extra points to get my resume in front of people because I got 10 points instead of the 5 points that most people got.
So if that's the case, when you apply for any federal job, if you are an Army veteran, you're gonna get some points.
You get
That's
first preference.
DEI. That is the definition of DEI.
Who
I don't care what you say, bro.
But that's been around before the terminologies ever come up. That's been
It
around.
was. DEI is not new.
White soldiers get the same treatment. They get the same
They do.
treatment. So you're not a DEI
First
hire.
preference.
No, you still basing it off my skin color. What I'm telling you is when we are disability, when you have a disability, you get an extra 10 points.
By the definition,
I will counter that point.
By the definition you're using, there are a lot of white DEI students in Harvard, Yale, and Princeton because a lot of them points on there.
I never denied that.
Parents went there.
I never denied that. I'm telling you another part. We have gotten the DEI and they based it off race. It's several categories of DEI.
Yeah,
several categories.
So
but I'll counter that though.
This right here. Somebody asked, where do we go from here? Go back to your question. See, I think, and I'm a part of something that's about to be announced pretty soon that I think is the way we go. And I think that we got to be more strategic and start thinking forward regardless of what's going on around us and start forming a network within our community to support Black businesses. Like we can form our own Black Amazon where we're shopping and buying the things we need from Black-owned companies. We don't need them. And see, the problem is that's the biggest issue I had with the Montgomery bus boycott. We got them to integrate the buses, but we should have started bus companies so that we can now, even though we can ride on their bus, that we can ride on our own bus and start our own bus company. So we got to start thinking like that, where we can undergird our community with businesses and opportunities where we help Black businesses build the capacity to handle all this stuff. Because I was reading something a while back how it says like money only circulates in the Black community for like a few minutes.
30 minutes. Everywhere else is
days.
30 minutes.
And so this is what we need to start doing. Where our buying capacity in this country is about $1.6 billion a year, right? If you take Black people out of the economy, it will bankrupt America, because America relies on us to consume it. We're good with buying all the name brand stuff. Even if we in the projects and we grew up in the ghetto, we had Jordans, we had all these stuff. Like we got to start thinking, how do we build community and support each other where we don't rely on them and go to them with our hands out all the time for stuff and build things within our community.
It goes back to what Roger said. We got to hold ourselves accountable also, because if we're going to support these Black businesses, I need you to have your customer service together, your business acumen together. You can't overcharge and underdeliver in all other areas. So if we're going to support each other, we got to hold each other accountable with that.
Yeah. And some of that too comes from, the people who have the know-how have to mentor some of these people into being able to handle that business. Like when even in the music industry, thinking about Motown and how Berry Gordy ran it, he didn't just train them how to be good. They were already good musicians, but he was taking them through classes, how to speak, how to talk, how to act in meetings, how to dress, how to carry yourself. Everybody listen, no, but he provided that structure to where people can learn. And we got to start doing stuff like that too, build ourselves up educationally. With Shannon, you shared something earlier, I think we'll get to. But building yourself up with knowledge and know-how and how to carry yourself. And then we got to get to the economics. Like all this is getting back to.
Financial literacy.
Prime example. I hate to say this. I'm gonna use this example. With all the food stamps floating around there with black people, there ain't no reason why Glenville couldn't have a grocery store on that side of town.
Exactly.
Oh,
even a little store where you gonna get all the stuff you need. Like, we got to start thinking like that. Like, you giving all this money, we can have a grocery store in Glenville. You already got a laundromat owned by a black man over there. There ain't no reason to go. You close ranks on these people. They need your money.
Yeah, great segue. Now I tried to get one of them. I tried to get one of the Berry Farm family, a family farm, on the show, but they're going to come on the show soon. But there's a black farm in the community. There's other black farmers in the community. So there's no reason we shouldn't have a black or a minority grocery store in the area. And
I think that came up before about the berries and why they didn't have a grocery store or something. Remember, we talked about that maybe on the first shows that we had.
Yeah, well, they're still getting their infrastructure together. And since we last talked, they're years ahead of where they were then. Well, way ahead. So
then it's another family up in
Cobbtown.
Yeah, we also have the Porter family on the Sandhill, right, Edmund?
Porters. I don't know how big theirs is or what they do, but I know Cobbtown. I know the Berries. But y'all, we got to start. I feel I'm convicted. I feel like we have the power in our hands to like close ranks. Stop shopping down there. Hey, don't even put your money in the Glenville Bank. Why you putting your money in the Glenville Bank and you got to put up everything you own just to get a few $1,000s from them people? And go be a member of the credit union. That's free. They're probably you get a loan from there than you are from the Glenville Bank or the South Georgia Bank. They just your money just sitting there, and we condition to think, oh, we need to go to Massa to survive and get money. When you don't even have to go into the bank like you used to. You can actually bank somebody out of the state and still be able to conduct business.
But we have to change the mind. You know, I'm not gonna tell y'all who this was, but I had a family member. And I was talking to him about banking. And this bank had denied him a loan. All right. And when he denied the loan, I said, why don't you take your money and go somewhere else? He said, well, no, I need to stay in my bank here for relationship purposes. I said, what relationship? He just denied you. He just denied you. So whatever relationship you thought you had, you don't have.
Yeah.
You know, I said, I go USA, I go online, I type up my information, and they give me a yes or no, based off my merit and my my credit history.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with them every day.
I remember one time
I go in there and got to go kiss Jimmy Davis or whoever it is down there at the local bank. And no, I'm not doing it, bro.
But see, that's what happened. I remember some years ago, I went to what's the credit union, Navy Federal. I went in there, they was like $25,000 credit card. I said, huh? But it was just like that. Glenville Bank ain't giving you that. Glenville Bank ain't you got to cut off your arm, your toes, and everything, and give your hog, your cow, your house, and everything just to get $5,000. But they'll get that white boy down the street, everything. That's the reason why those banks went belly up during the housing crisis, because they were extending themselves to their buddies and finance subdivisions that they couldn't afford. And when they went belly up, that's why the Tatnall Bank closed down and had to be bought out. A lot of these small banks in there, they'll loan to themselves, but they won't loan to you. They'll use your money and let your money sit there because everybody had that mindset Roger was talking about. I need a relationship with Massa. I may need a loan from them people down there. Man, banking has changed. You don't need your local bank.
Yeah, banking is paperless.
To be honest, most of the people that our previous generations had a relationship with, they either dead or they retired. They're not at the bank no more. It's their kids and grandkids now.
Let me ask you this, Michael. Trey asks, is Glenville ready to change? Are there any minority representation in the family?
No, Glenville ain't ready to change, and I got case in point why Glenville isn't ready to change, because they just enacted a new zoning ordinance to basically shut down low income housing. Not shut down low income housing, but really block an entire type of housing from coming in the city. So So
Michael,
they
I thought that was already. I thought that was already.
So it was a
law in.
moratorium, and that's not permanent. So they made it into an actual zoning ordinance. So it's a
which
part.
I think is unconstitutional, and y'all need to sue them
Oh,
because
it's definitely unconstitutional.
it's a land taking. And my thing is, you can't do that. I worked in government and worked on a lot of zoning. When I was on the county side, we got sued because we tried to stop this man from zoning his corner lot into a commercial property. He took us to court and won. Property rights are hard to take from people, and what they did was
but a lot of cities have enacted that though.
No, not the way that I read that law that they just passed.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I was under the impression that this law was already
like eminent domain.
No, it was.
No, they're not taking the land.
Yeah,
they just saying that you can't put a mobile home on it.
But see, if like prime example, King's Trailer Park, right, is zoned for trailers, right? So what you're doing is you're actually taking my property by saying now I can't bring any more trailers on land that's already zoned for that. And so,
if I'm mistaken, you couldn't replace those trailers either, right?
Yeah, well, under the new law, I don't think you can replace them. They grandfathered in the existing trailers, right? And then,
but I think specific trailer. What I'm saying is, my trailer, I had it for 50 years, and it's tearing. Want to bring in a new one? I don't think do that.
You can't do it. You can't bring now. Before they passed this law, I think you could. It had to be like a double wide. I think didn't they outlaw wide? It had to be double wide. And so what many cities are doing, they're they're requiring better standards for how you maintain your trailers and things like that. That's okay. But for you to just ban a type of housing, that's a bit, you get into uncharted waters where you begin to take people in. So like, let's say that front part of the trailer park, I don't know who owned that side, but that land is zoned for trailers. So you're telling me now I'm boxed in and I can't bring in any trailers on my land. You're forcing me into something that I shouldn't be forced into.
Exactly.
You create a hardship for me.
Yeah.
And you so
it's what I can do with my own land.
Yeah, it's a bunch. So they're violating fair housing laws. They're violating just a whole bunch of stuff. It's like Em said, it's unconstitutional. So
who's there to try to rectify that? Like, is there anybody?
They start taking the Superior Court and sue them.
And that's it.
And show an intent, because for me, it's an intent of discrimination against a certain demographic within the community. And I looked up case law for a few people. I started doing some research, and there's case law out there where these ordinances have been overturned because they show a clear line of discrimination against a certain type of housing and people. And it can deny people the ability to function and live in their community.
Yeah, gotcha. Real quick, shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in. We had a pretty engaged audience tonight. We have Fernita Hostin, Carolyn Bacon, Carol Waters, Teresa Brown Shields, Marjorie Nesby, Natalia Nesby, Kathy Howard, Marsha Anthony. So Emily Murphy, shout out to Miss Emily. We have a pretty live discussion tonight. So if you're enjoying the discussion, thank you so much. Be sure to share the podcast, hit the like button, and all of that good stuff.
Tell someone to hop on.
What you said. Whatever you about to say, Roger. Thanks twice.
Don't say it, Roger. Don't say it. It's a New Year resolution, Roger.
I got answer now.
Yeah, and if you want to join the show, I'll drop the link out. You can click on the link, and then you guys can come up. You don't have to turn your camera on. It just be like you're calling in, and join the discussion if you guys want to talk about anything. On to a more lighter subject. That was a great chat, guys. Great discussion on all of that.
Big draws on.
Yeah, man.
That's all I can tell you, bud. Put your big draws on. Let's figure out what it is.
Y'all found out.
At this point, work to do.
Yeah, we got work to do. All right. So listening to the radio, taking my son to school this morning, front page news, the rapper Big Dank. She called a Lyft, which is rideshare, and the Lyft guy turned her down because she was too big, and then she had a hissy fit, and then went on the news and all that. But to cut the story short, let's go to the tape and see what she had to say.
389 pounds.
So you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car?
Deja Blandings recorded it all. Her Lyft driver pulling up only to turn her down.
I was too big, and his tires, something about his tires. I asked him, what do I have to do with your tires?
This happened January 18th. The 29-year-old Detroiter was headed to a Lions watch party, only she never got there.
So you telling me I can't get in the Lyft because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you called her bigger.
What makes you think I can't fit in the car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The driver told her she needed to request an XL car.
I was embarrassed, and I felt some type of way about it, you know.
She's hired a lawyer and is suing Lyft.
Well, from a legal standpoint, it seems like obvious discrimination. The Elliott-Larsen Act, which is Michigan's Civil Rights Act, specifically protects people from weight discrimination. And the driver here turned down her ride because of her weight.
Deja says this experience has scarred her.
I haven't really left my house since that.
She hopes this lawsuit will change how people treat others of all sizes.
Didn't have to pay for extra for a Uber XL.
While Lyft does not comment on pending litigation.
All right, we'll cut it short. But before y'all answer, I want to hear a Roderick answer first. But before you answer, Roderick, in the chat, who's wrong, who's right? Was the Lyft driver wrong?
Hell no.
Or was she right? I'll let Roderick go first. What do you say, Roderick?
Man, sis got to do better, man. So, if you ever use that app, it asks you how many people, what luggage, she knows she can't get in them little seats, man. So that man had to protect his business, man. And for her to sit there and throw that back on him because she chose the wrong vehicle, she out of pocket on that. You got to tell them she was 389 pounds trying to get in the back of a Civic. Come on, player. Come on now. Hey, come on now. Hey, there ain't no discrimination in that. You watering it down. You watering down the complaint, man. You know what I'm saying? You watering down the complaint. She couldn't fit. Hey, even if she could have got her leg across the little hump.
The Benz was a Civic.
Yeah, come on, man.
Hey, the man say his tires was tired.
Yeah, man. Them tires small, man. Yeah, man. No. She knew she
so
needed.
In the chat, who was wrong? Was the
not
Lyft driver wrong? Yeah, so
I don't think they come bigger than XL.
She needed something. I think she needed something else.
Yeah,
she might need her own car.
I hate that happened to her, but I'm discouraged by
Why?
People focus on
Why?
the Lyft driver and hadn't said anything about she needs to take care of her health and wellness.
No, because that's body shaming. You can't do that. But Taryn, why you feel sorry for her? I
don't feel sorry. I just say I hate that people didn't address her instead of talking about getting a ride. Like
she got it now.
Being that big is a choice. Like there may be reasons that cause it to be, but that's a choice.
Hey, she went in that app. We saw that XL was $50, and she saw that compact. That's what she ordered. The compact, and she saw that was $32.
I can't.
All right, I got you real quick, right? Let's add some fun to it. All right, I'm Big Dank pulling up. I got my app. I need you to be the Lyft driver.
I got you.
I'm coming up. Hey. All right, here we go. Oh, there go my little Civic right there.
Nah, hey, I'm sorry, man, but you ordered the wrong car. You can't get in this.
You got full seat, but you got 2 seats in the back seat.
Ma'am, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. You can't fit in my car.
So why you driving Lyft if you can't take passengers?
I can take passengers. I just can't take one your size.
So you mean to tell me you can't push that passenger seat all the way up to the dashboard and I get across the back seat?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. You might get one leg in, but you can't get your seatbelt on. I don't have seatbelt extenders. You can't get your leg crossed on the other side. And who gonna help you out? Who gonna help you out the car?
See, that's why I need to call Johnny Cab or Jamaican Earl. I can't fool with you, sir.
Man,
Jamaican Earl would have
in the chat. Who was right? Who was wrong? Who was right? Who was wrong? Another topic that came up. Now I know all of us can chime in, and ladies, it's more ladies in the chat than guys. But let's go to YouTube also and the Corner Store page. But we have Rodney Dinkins, we have Randall King, Brandy King checking in. Okay, Brandy. But here's a question for you guys: should couples have access to each other's bank account?
No.
Yeah. I think that's okay.
No.
We did. I did. It wasn't a problem.
Yeah, well, she don't have access to all of them. She ain't on Facebook, so but she don't have access to all of them. But I don't see a problem with it. She's a beneficiary on everything. So
I think the best thing is to have an account together, have your money in another account, and then have
Roger, what you out here buying you don't want your wife to see?
No, to be honest with you, my wife has her account and she has access to my account. You know what I'm saying? Now she asks me before she goes in my account, but what I'm telling you is from experience, me and my wife been together 26 years, and we have decided that it's best for us to have separate accounts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to get mad when I see a charge that I don't like. She worked just like I do, so she keep her money over there. What I told her was, I'm retiring at 55. If she at Walmart greeting people at 66, 67, that's on her. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, Big Rock said, hell no. I want to hear from some ladies in the chat. Ladies, is it okay for couple or your spouse or significant other to have access to your personal bank account and you have access to his, and then both of y'all have access to the joint account? Here's the other kicker. Should couples have access to the passcodes to each other's phone?
Hell no.
What say you, Micah?
I don't mind.
Hold on, I don't want to get you in trouble now.
No, I ain't gonna get in trouble for either one. Well,
I saw how she snatched you up at DJ birthday party, but don't.
Nah. But nah, I mean, I guess it's to each his own.
I don't care. Ain't nothing.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing in my phone.
I ain't got nothing in there.
Just everybody need their own little piece. Everybody need their own little piece. They little area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
couples don't need to have 100% access to everything that you do.
Yeah, you need your space in certain areas. So, all right, moving on to sports. Adam Silva is talking about reducing the NBA quarters to 10 minutes. That's good for the game, bad for the game. Like the NBA is down this year.
It's too long. The game too long.
Yeah, the game's too long.
Too long.
And they play 82 games.
I think that's for good health and entertainment. I think that'll bring it back where the college play 40 minutes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, college games alone, man. I'm telling you, my son went to the game. My son went out there, played. They got a under 12 minute, under 16 minute. So you play 4 minutes. The first stoppage, you got a timeout. All right. Then he comes back in the game. They had another foul. They had another TV timeout. All right. Then they go back, play another 2 minutes. Then you got an under 12 timeout. The games are just too long. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, there's a tragedy, man. There was a plane crash. A flight coming into DC hit a helicopter, a police helicopter coming in, and I think there's some major deaths. Oh shoot!
Oh wow!
Oh man!
So, there you have. We have breaking news on the corner
right now. Oh goodness!
And guess what? Trump guts key aviation safety committee, fires head of TSA Coast Guard. Boy, I tell you. See, elections have consequences, even in times like this.
You said it was landed in D.C. or
It
leaving
was
D.C.?
landed in D.C., so the collision happened over the Potomac. So I think there have been some reported casualties.
Oh wow, yeah, we definitely check
Right,
that.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you're in the chat, Edmund is breaking news. He said there was a plane crash over the Potomac headed into DC. We're gonna check that when we get off. But peace, love, and healing energy going out to those families that may be involved. Don't know the details of it yet, but definitely sending prayers and good energy that way. Moving on with the show real quick. I know we were just talking about the NBA, but on to the NFL, fellas. The Eagles and the Chiefs. Who you got?
That's a
Eagles.
tough one, bro. I'm
Yeah.
going with the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't. Neither one of them my teams, but I'm going for the Eagles this time. And
I'm
before,
going against the Trump supporters.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a Jalen Hurts
for the
fan.
Eagles.
So
I thought the Chiefs had a hard time stopping the run, and now you coming up with this super package. You got Saquon coming in the house. I just think that they're gonna have a hard time keeping the Eagles off the field.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, they show, man.
Going on some more.
Oh my God.
What were they thinking? Segment, Roderick. Before I get to that, I want to know: can Snoop, Rick Ross, Nelly, and Soulja Boy come to the cookout this summer? Or they banned?
Nah, they good, man. They had to go make their money. And on top of that, it wasn't labeled a Trump event. It was labeled something like Bitcoin or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was
All
still,
these people selling out.
yeah, it still was in
they, don't get me wrong. I think that it was a miss. I don't think that they knew at the beginning that.
Yeah, man, your Trump
name-
wife
We got-
coming out, bro.
We got an executive order to
Elon
cut
Musk got him. Elon Musk got him.
Got him.
Yeah,
got
The
but
Wi-Fi went down though.
but yeah, man, that's what I think. I mean, I ain't got no problem with man going out there getting his money though.
Yeah, I just think they miscalculated because honestly, they can lose more than they gain from that event. Like Nelly has a residency. Now, who's gonna go see that other than
Who's going to see Nelly? Now, his music when we went,
The
I heard
people, the people, the same. Hey, you know who going to see Nelly? The same people that paid him to go to that Bitcoin event. So Nelly ain't losing no money. Nelly losing you, and you ain't give him $1 in 20 years.
Did you
So
see
he don't
that?
care. You know what I'm saying?
The crowd of that Bitcoin.
Hey, you got a point. I wasn't listening to Nelly before this.
I wasn't either. He was irrelevant.
Let's be real. Let's be real about it. You know what I'm saying? Why should I care about your opinion when you ain't gave me $1 in 20 years?
Yeah, but if you see the interaction of that crowd that came, they weren't caring about him either.
But he got paid. At the end of the day.
Yeah. I feel that too. I feel like he shouldn't have tried to come out and justify it afterwards because he made it worse after that. So
I would have justified it. It's a job.
But do you have what were they thinking, bro?
Man, it's a bunch of what are we thinking. First of all, I'm gonna hit some hearts, but what were we thinking with the nomination? All right, that's first thing. Second thing is we got a guy, man. I had a story that I saw on Instagram. This guy was begging Trump. He's a staunch Trump supporter, and he was begging Trump about why his wife lost her position as a nurse at the VA hospital. So he cried about that, and he tried to tell the people on Instagram that it's probably an oversight on Trump. He probably didn't mean to do that. So he appealed to Trump, and I can't remember the governor that he did. It was either governor or senator. So basically what happened is his wife was in the process of being hired as a VA nurse, which y'all know VA works for the government. So with the freeze, she had basically lost not an offer, but the position, basically a position to move. The hey, you got the accepted offer, and she had a conditional offer. And when you get that conditional offer, it's almost like unless something else happened with your security or your background, that's pretty much a solid offer. She had a conditional offer, so they started packing up, getting ready to relocate. And that freeze hit. Now she's stuck. She has no job. She's in the middle of moving. You know how it is. People start shutting things down, and it's going to cost them some money. Well, the guy, like I said, Trump supporter, you've effed around and found out. You know what I'm saying? You voted for him. You voted for all that. You get what you get. All right. Another guy, what was you thinking? I watched this black guy, and I wanted to send you the link before the thing, for the show, Shannon. I think I did send it. Did I send it to you guys?
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
I put it up.
Yeah, I
dude
sent it to you
dude
guys
with,
before we got on there, where he said that Trump is a man, and a man should be able to run, just like he run his house. Trump is running the country, and he need to put he need to take some pills and a bottle of whiskey to the head. You know what I'm saying? But that's a platform, that same platform that you talking about, Instagram. There he is right there. I couldn't even get past the whole portion.
Let me know if y'all hear this.
Men are not loved. Men have to put their fucking foot in folks' ass. Men have to lay down the law. Men have to lay down the truth. Donald Trump is a man. The fact that all these fucking women hating him shows that he's doing exactly what men do. I'm despising my own motherfucking house. Because if I let the women do what they want to do, it'll be a fucking shit show. You need to be a part of the fucking USA. It costs us a lot of money to protect you son of a bitches. Russia, calm the fuck down. Y'all know we'll bomb on y'all motherfucking ass.
Yeah, he need to take some medicine, bro.
Yeah, he need to take
he off his meds.
I mean, judging from his looks, I can tell that he's despised in his household because look, like he haircut and he needs some lotion.
If you go to the comments, I went to the comments. Tamika Mallory commented, talking about, bro, your own household don't even claim you. So how you gonna tell us what to do?
And last but not least, man, it's a coworker. That is a person that I know has told me about a coworker. Trump supporter, married to a German. Now, catch that, married to a German. He has mixed kids, and he is the epitome of self-hate. He does not like black women. He does not like minorities, and he constantly explains why. He's black. He's not from the South. He's from upstate somewhere. But he's disconnected with his family. His sons apparently don't date black women, and and he's a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? Those are the reasons why we can't. We would never be able to better ourselves, because not only do we have crab and crab in the basket mentality, but we have a lot of self-hate. You know what I'm saying? We want to assimilate so bad. You know what I'm saying? We want to assimilate so bad. No matter where you work at, we want to chew tobacco. You know what I'm saying? We want to go out to the step dances. We want to assimilate so bad to people that don't like us. Yeah, and I found that so
that is, don't let the minority seem like they're the masses. Like, I hear people say that all the time. And when you look at the percentages, they're a small percentage of like-minded brothers like us.
Man, but we saw this at work in Glenville where we grew up. What them white folks do? They collared us. Oh, you not like the rest of them. Oh. They try to get you. They get a few of them around. I see they get more today.
I know you got that, Micah. I grew up with that label. You know what I'm saying? I know Micah got that. Kings.
You know, like the rest of them. Oh, y'all are different. Man, I said, first of all, I told him, I said, y'all so disrespectful. I said, I said, first of all, y'all, that means you don't know many black people. And I said, you got to know me. That's why you think that way about me. But that's actually an insult.
It is, man. You know, how they used to say, you'd be like, Randall.
Yeah.
Kings Randall and
my goodness, I went to school with your dad. Now, which one of them kings is yours?
Hey, they will smile until I tell them who my dad was.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Which one of yours? I said, I'm Robbie. I'm Robbie's son. Oh, okay.
Now, let me tell you something. It's like Get Out around there in Glenville now. They getting all of them little
man. Listen, they
snatching them up.
Yeah, it's just man, Glenville
around there. I ain't calling no names. You had some of them around there had these black kids wearing Confederate flag T-shirts.
Yeah, it's wild.
Man, it's crazy.
What?
Yeah, it's just like my dad worked for the rec department for over 40 years. Michael, have you seen any recognition in the paper or anything?
None at all.
Any fields renamed after anybody? Even like Coach Hall. Coach Hall is in the Hall of Fame of Georgia, but not in the Hall of Fame of Glenville that I've seen. No streets other than the little painting behind the Dairy Queen.
Man, they tried to hide the onion. It's the guy that really brought the sweet onion to Glenville. They hid that. My granddad told me that
it was a black guy.
Yeah, it's a black guy.
Tom Shine. I think Tom Shine.
Yep. My granddad.
Tom Shine, actually, they said all that land out there by the park. They stole it from
Hensley. Tom Shine was a businessman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Hensley came down from like New Jersey or something, somewhere upstate. He come down and he had got a little piece of parcel of land, and the only money he had, he could only buy what they wasn't planting. They wasn't giving him nothing else, no credit line or nothing. So the only thing he could afford was onions. Onions was out of season when he planted them. They were supposed to die, all right? But when that plant grew, they found out they had a unique taste to it, which was sweet onion. So nobody, the Dashers, none of them bought into it. Would take that onion and would take it to Vidalia, because that was a major highway running there from people from New York. And he started selling that onion. All right. That's how the name Vidalia sweet onion came across, because that's how the New Yorkers recognized it. They named it Vidalia sweet onion. But that onion came from a black man in Glenville that nobody gave a chance to, nobody listened to. And once that thing became popular and profitable, guess what happened?
Hijacked.
That's when they hijacked, and you got the Dashers and all them people started doing it.
And I was 8 years old when I learned that. I never knew that story, bro.
My granddad, that's why it's important to sit down with your elders and have that conversation. One thing about my granddaddy, he's going to teach us history. He told me about this man named Tom Shine. I had no idea, never heard of this man. He was a businessman. He pretty much supposed to be pretty somebody, you know what I'm saying, that owned a lot of stuff in Glenville. So my question is, what happened? I always ask granddaddy, what happened?
They said he came into some financial difficulties and they kind of stole his land from up under him.
Exactly. They stole a lot from him and pretty much chased him out of town.
Yep. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But that granddaddy fought for him to get that Tom, that Tom Shine. They won't change the road name because they claim it costs too much. The business is too much to change the names. But, if they want to change the name, they fought about changing the name of MLK also. The MLK Drive, it used to be Smith. It used to be Smith Street. Then they got to change the MLK. They didn't want to do it. Yep. Now,
so the Tom Shine, they never did anything to recognize them at
Tom Shine Memorial. They got Tom Shine Memorial Highway. They never got that done. If you go back and look at Hencart has got a sign at the beginning and the end down there. It says Tom Shine Memorial something like that. It's the same setup that they got my granddaddy's memorial on the road in front of the house.
And thing will give us no credit for anything that revolutionized Glenville.
But I can tell you what he did fight for. Glenville has a history book that they keep up in the museum. He made them put Mr. Hensley in that book. They fought it, but he's in that book. If you ever get that Glenville book that they sell, he's in there. It's him in the middle and two Dasher boys, I think, that are standing beside him. Now, what the white guy's gonna tell you is they co-founded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk offline, man. I may put something animated together, and then I'll get with you too, Mike, on some stuff. Like, that's great history, bro. Like, I'm today years old.
Hearing that. If you ever get that Glenville book that they were selling a few years ago, it's like a history book of Glenville. It's in there. Not the story that I told you, but it's in there. It's in there. Yeah. Some details left out.
He's in there, and they'll say this is the legend or the story, but that's actually the real story. Yeah. He invented that crop, and they took it, and he really showed them how to start sharecropping here in town. So he kind of took that off. So when your parents and grandparents or uncles, aunts talk about they used to go work for the farm, he showed people how to do that. And then that's how Granddaddy got started doing it too. So everybody used to go work on the farm during the summer.
Granddaddy was a contractor.
Yep. That's how he kind of.
Granddaddy was a contractor coming back from dropping his workers off at work. He came up on a car crash.
Yeah.
He came up on a car crash.
He started the
Yep. And if you're in the chat and you're listening to this story, you're from Glenville, drop a cowboy hat in the chat. And we're gonna have Roger going around from church to church on the Slick Kang tour, telling this stuff.
I ain't telling you nothing.
Drop a cowboy hat in the chat. If
man, it's a lot of history, man. It's a lot of history in Glenville, man. That little area they call the quarters, man, used to be a very profitable area, man. And you know what they did? Most of the black men that were businessmen, they pretty much ran out of town. They don't tell you the history of how we got our first black police officer. They don't tell you none of that stuff. You know
how we got our first black city councilman. They had the city.
War. Hey, how War I came up. You know what I'm saying? People don't even know the history of that.
Well,
they just assume
compact all of this and put all that back out there. Then
but we teach that. My granddaddy taught that. That is like common in our family. He taught that. He passed those stories down. He sit down and told me about Tom Shine. He told me about, Hensley. He told me about Martin Luther King coming to Reedsville, and a group of the guys went up there and they talked to him, and they talked them out of coming and protesting out here in Glenville. He told us about that history. Things that we would never learn in what they call this non-DEI society. Where they say American history. I know more. I know more about a dude that didn't invent the cotton gin than anybody. Y'all really think a white man invented the cotton gin? Well, I'll hit you across the head.
Yeah, we hold them nuggets. We're gonna hold though. We may have to start a new segment. This moment in slick history, black history.
Come on, man. You don't make it more.
But seriously, man, I'm gonna get with you offline. We may can put something together and then start putting those out. But we'll talk about it. And then if you're just tuning into the chat, I see we have some of my Savannah State alumni and friends from out of state, out of the city. But we're just 4 guys from Glenville, Georgia. Let you in on our group chat. We have these discussions all the time amongst ourselves in our group chat. But every now and then we let you guys come in and listen to us on the podcast. People have been asking, when are we going to do it again? When are we going to do it again? So we did it again.
Yeah,
hey, you need a non-disclosure agreement. You got to sign a non-disclosure agreement if you're coming backstage, though.
Yeah.
Right.
And we usually try to get some guests. I've reached out to a few people in the community, and they're going to come up. And if you're watching and want to come up and promote your business, first and foremost, come on up. Let us know. Tell us about your business so we can get you out in front of our platform to get you that awareness and exposure. But other than that, guys, man, it was a great first show of 2025.
Hey, can I say one more thing? I got
go ahead and close us out, Pastor. Close us out.
I got a challenge though. I want these educated minds, especially in government, like Edmund and Micah. We need a path forward. We can't worry about what happened, what got taken away from us. We need a path forward. And you guys, y'all the best at what y'all do. You've already done the government. Both of y'all have already been elected officials. We need a path forward.
Yeah,
And
Edmund has something he's working on. I'm sure he's going to share it sooner, but we're going to get it out to the masses as soon as it's released. So I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, I don't want to be premature. It's a group of people working on something massive that I think could change and address what you're talking about, Roderick.
Yeah. And then we can't worry about those 2% who don't buy in either, Slick. Like they're gonna be loud and wrong, but we got to worry about the other 98% that's on
we
board.
can't get in no platform though.
I agree.
This is economic and business based.
Right.
What's that one guy that you had on that one time, man? I don't want to hear it.
Got into I ain't gonna go on another tangent, but he told me we were better off before 1964.
Yeah.
We can't even engage with them no more.
Hey, he need a fistful too.
Yeah, man. I agree. We can't give ignorance, especially willful ignorance, a platform. So
I'm all for dialogue, but not ignorant.
Yeah, I agree, especially willful. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in to the Corner Store. Stay tuned for more to come from us. We'll let you guys know when we're going to do it again. We usually try to do it bi-weekly. We just got to coordinate. We have 3 other guests that are usually on. And once again, if you want to come on, please let us know and we'll get you in here.
Female. Tell them we need recruiting a female.
Yeah, we definitely need some estrogen because, boy, Roger be up here kicking our tail, boy. We need a woman on the show that can handle. We might have to get your wife on here, bro. I think she can handle you.
Who?
She might be kind of quiet.
She tell me, hey, I'm speaking with her. I'm speaking her stuff. She telling me to tell y'all.
Oh, that's the wizard. She putting the battery in your back, huh?
Tell me to tell y'all.
There it is. Mine do the same thing because she wouldn't agree with half of some of the stuff I say. So.
What they doing now? What you got tonight? Tell them about this dude.
Yeah, but last but not least, man, make sure y'all are taking care of yourself. We're gonna start trying to add health segments. I talked to Marjorie Cook, who's a practitioner, and teaching. She's a professional. She's a Jamaican from Glenville, it seems like, but she's gonna try to come on when she can and start dropping health and wealth nuggets with us on here to get that information out to the masses. So, other than that, any last shout outs, Edmund, Michael,
and financial awareness,
Yes, definitely. All right. Other than that, from the Corner Store, we out. Peace.
Yeah.